Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a review here for a movie that has two different titles according to IMDb and some parts of the internet. The, I guess, United States title here in the US when it comes to, like, Tubi, where I watched it, for example. It's called Final Prayer, and the overseas original title apparently was called The Borderlands. Now, this movie came out in 2013. It's an hour and a half long. It's a found footage movie, and the reason I picked this out to watch was because I went to see my mom and my grandfather for my grandfather's birthday this past weekend, and on Sunday when we were hanging out, my grandfather left to go hang out with his fiancée. My mom and I were hanging out. She dozed off, and I decided, okay, I'll find something to watch. I looked all over Tubi for a found footage movie section, because I'm a big found footage fan. And not even just with basic things. I like kind of outlandish found footage stuff. It appeals to me because it feels like you're there, you know? I feel like I'm one of the last few people who actually love and respect the found footage subgenre of horror. So, I look around on Reddit for something to recommend, or some kind of recommendation on some of the horror subreddits and whatever, to see if somebody has some kind of recommendation for something that might still be on Tubi. And eventually I came across one that was recommended a lot there, and on some YouTube channels I looked at as well for something to watch. And that was this movie, Final Prayer. And people were recommending it constantly, talking about how intense it was, how it really was a change, surprise for them. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know anybody in front of the camera or behind the camera, but I don't know what the fuck people were smoking. This, to me, started out in a way that could have really built into something really cool. And to me, by the end of this movie, I was so disappointed with what I watched that I just wanted to shut it off. It was such a letdown. And I hate to say that. I know the creators of a lot of these movies that are lower budget like this that I, review here on my channel, I've had more than one person come to me in a comment saying, hey, thanks for reviewing my movie. Even if it was negative, thank you for reviewing it. Which is cool. I appreciate people, being kind when I'm kind of an asshole. But let me say this. The people behind the camera, I think, clearly had talent. The people in front of the camera, the actors themselves, I think clearly had talent. They could have pulled this off. And I feel like it's just a big disappointing mess at the end of the day. Anyway, what's the movie about? We have a team of investigators from the Vatican, and one kind of lies and says he's a believer in the Bible and everything else. He's kind of not. The other one is just kind of leaving the Catholic Church slowly, but his brother is also there as part of the team as well. They're going to this small church in the middle of nowhere to investigate something that was caught on camera during a baby baptism that the Catholics do. And something weird happened where, like, a table was behind the priest and some candles moved around, like as if somebody was underneath the table with a magnet, which no one ever looks to that and says that could be what it was. Whatever. But as they delve into this, some weird supernatural things get caught on camera here and there, and of course they also have the found footage setup of having to have cameras on them all the time. Apparently they were told they have to have these head cams on them throughout the entire night. It reminds me of Halloween Resurrection. And they have to have it on their body as soon as they wake up, and the only time they can take it off is to take a shower and to go to the bathroom, and that's it. So I was hoping for more. Now, we also have some cameras installed around the church that they're investigating, and you would think more would happen with that, and it really doesn't. This is such a boring movie. And that's the sad part. It started out in a way where the two lead guys that were watching, the one who's not really a believer, the one who is, those two were interesting to watch kind of work together. Kind of their bickering, their bantering, but like they weren't friends, but they weren't enemies, They were just caught up in a bad situation as coworkers. And it has some character depth with the one guy that is a believer that's kind of walked away from the Vatican a little bit. But outside of those two, there's not really much going on here. There's nothing really scary. There's kind of like a claustrophobic moment in the finale of the film. But nothing really happens in this hour and a half long movie until maybe the last 10 minutes, maybe the last 5 minutes even. Outside of that, I really wasn't impressed at all. I feel like it's just boring. I just feel like I was sitting there with my brain oozing out of the side of my head. I don't know. It's such a letdown, dude, and I expected so much more. Because typically people will recommend found footage films that are big fans and love that subgenre, and they get really good taste on it, typically. But then people throw out recommendations like this, or the Bigfoot movie from Eduardo Sanchez, the maker of Blair Witch Project, I believe. I believe he made this. It's a Bigfoot film called Exists. I'm pretty sure he made that. I wasn't a fan of that either. It was more watchable than this. It was less boring than this, but it was still just too modern feeling to me. I don't know. Final Prayer doesn't do it for me. That's all I'm saying. It's not very well shot. It's not beautifully filmed. It's obviously low budget, but the fact that it's so boring is the bummer to me. It's the bummer about this whole thing. I was expecting a lot more and I got not much, if I'm being honest with you. But anyway, that's all I have to say about The Final Prayer, or The Borderlands if you've seen it by that title. What did you all think about it? I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. If I had to rate Final Prayer, at the end of the day, I can't give it much, dude. There really wasn't anything redeeming in this film to me. I think the biggest sin I'm seeing in some found footage movies, even though this is already a 10-year-old movie, I'm seeing this issue with the found footage subgenre, where they decide to put music into a found footage movie. Found Footage 3D also did this shit, I believe, if I remember correctly. It's been like a year since I've seen that, but I'm pretty sure they did that there too. And I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you think that it makes sense to put music, like movie music, over something like that? There are scenes in this film that could have been creepier had there not been music attached to it. If it had just been the environmental sound, the atmospheric sound, and let us absorb that as the audience. We didn't even get that. So, Final Prayer is a joke, as far as I'm concerned. Again, I feel like there's clearly talent here. I feel like these guys could easily make something better. The actors, the director, everybody. But this just wasn't it. It just completely fell flat for me, as I said. But anyway, if I had to rate it on a 5-star basis, I'd give it like a 1 out of 5 stars. It just does not land for me at all. And that's a shame. I hate to say that, but I'm not impressed. This is one of those recommendations you get from the internet from a lot of people, and you're like, what the fuck are all of you on that you found this good? I don't know. Anyway, thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all, and goodbye.